Senator Taylor, we're going to take a quick break. Are you still able to stay on with us for a few more minutes after the break? All right, so folks, stay tuned. You are on point with JP and Dr. B. We are talking with Senator Van Taylor, and we are discussing this morning the impacts that the Paris terrorist attack has had and the continued threats that are not perceived but are real now coming from ISIS, including one that has been placed on Washington, D.C. So stay tuned as we come back with Senator Van Taylor and we continue this discussion on not only Syrian refugees, but what should we do about terrorism in this country? Take us away, Action Jackson. What do you think?
Good information. Yeah, I think that this should hit the business world.
Oh, I would think so. What do you think, Action?
Yeah.
Mark Davis just went running by. He commented on our picture, by the way.
Oh, did he?
I posted our picture out
I
there.
saw that.
He said, "Man, guys, it sure is cool to see you here," or something like that. All right, when we come back, let's hit. He has to be off by 6:40. So I want to talk about what Democrats are saying in regards to ISIS and how Hillary Clinton is saying. This is a direct quote. Let's see. New focus, Hillary Clinton. We have to look at ISIS as the leading threat of the international terror network. It cannot be contained. It must be defeated.
Do you all have extra pen over here?
Pen. I do not.
Extra pen.
You want to use it?
Yes, please. Thank you.
So security risks are at 22%. Yeah. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, no. We want him to come back as a guest. We don't want to pillow him on that deal.
Who is it locally that's wanting the Dallas County guy that wants the immigrants to come?
I don't know. Do you know who? That'd be a great question to ask him if you can find it. Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
What to say? Okay.
He said that David Darling is back today. She'll have the answers that I need.
Oh.
The things that I need. This is interesting. This says that Reuters released a poll that said that Americans want to intensify the fight against ISIS, but 65% of them objected to President Obama's decision to send in the special forces to counter ISIS, and 76% say they oppose the deployment of ground troops.
It's the politically correct thing to say. They can't believe that.
Well, how do you say it? I'm going to ask him that. How do you say it in one hand and you know? God, man, there's so many commercials. Okay. All right, good morning, DFW. And again, thank you for waking up with JP and Dr. B. This morning we are talking with Senator Van Taylor. He is on the phone with us, and we're talking about the Syrian refugee. We're going to call it a crisis, I guess, because it seems like all the news agencies are, where governors across the United States do not want them to come into their state. And the president has made it very clear that shame on them for not wanting them in their state. So we're talking with Senator Taylor about the impacts of Paris on North Texas, also the impacts of Paris on the presidential election, and what is it we should do. And I mean, Senator Taylor, you have been very clear on this, that the only way to do it is to take away their battleground. Is that right? Well, you know, Senator Taylor, I'm looking over the news reports this morning, and I was reading, you know, Hillary Clinton, of course, was in Dallas, and she's got a quote. She says, "We have to look at ISIS as the leading threat of an international terror network. It cannot be contained. It must be defeated." But yet, none of them seem to want to put boots on the ground. You know, so what does that statement really mean from somebody who's not willing to make a commitment to take away that operating and battle space? You know, Senator Taylor, the same article I was reading says that they've released a new Reuters poll that says that a majority of Americans want to intensify the fight against the ISIS group, But yet they voiced strong reservations about the use of ground troops in either Syria or Iraq. In fact, the poll is saying 65% said they objected to Obama's decision to send in special forces, and 76% said they opposed the deployment of ground troops. What would they expect us to do? Send a poem over and ask them not to come over?
Well, it seems to me that a great deal of politicians are willing to, what I'm trying to think about the word I want, maybe politically correct line. You know, they want to be so embracing of everybody, and yet we are putting ourselves, our children, our families in peril by allowing the continued immigration, and a lot of it illegal immigration too, into our borders. We have to do something. And I appreciate that you're standing up.
Well, Senator Taylor, I know that you have a meeting that you're having to get to. I think, aren't you heading down to Houston or something like that? So I'm going to kick you off the air, by golly, and hope you'll come back and join us again when we want to talk about state affairs. And sure appreciate your commentary this morning. I know that it resonates really well with me, and I know it resonates with the folks in your district. Thank you so much for joining us. You bet. Have a safe trip to Houston. Well, folks, you are here on point with JP and Dr. B. And Dr. B and I are tackling the issue of Syrian refugees. Should they be allowed in Texas or not? Of course, you know, Governor Abbott and all of the other governors out there that have sent these letters really don't have the authority, as Senator Van Taylor has said, to determine how immigration policy works. That the federal government has a lot of control over that. The president has a lot of discretion in that. And at the same token, you've also heard him say that the members of the House and the Senate down in Austin are pretty darn frustrated, and so is the governor, with the lack of fundamental interest in the security of our southern border, and truly trying to get some attention from Washington, D.C., whether it be by Congress or by the president, to get some security down there. Dr. B, what is it going to take for us to finally secure our southern borders, you think?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's going to take another 9/11 or something happening on the order of what happened in Paris in the Metroplex or in Texas closer to us. I thought that the issue at the Caldwell Center there in Garland was going to wake us up, and we were going to become much more attuned to this and protective of our place. But it doesn't seem, I mean, again, I think a lot of people are so concerned about, well, let's be nice, let's accept these people in. They're running from war. There's no doubt